nekk mandataire la pour ki nga xamante ne mooy suñ njiiti réew mi mu ñëw ci pencum ndawi réew mi adresse réew mi waaye wax ak ñi nga xamante ne ñooy pencum ndawi réew mi bu ko defee bu président bi waxee achievement am yi ak yokkuteem yi ba pare su ko defee ñoom tamit ñu dibeet jamono ji président Barrow wàcc na dugasi na fi nga xamante ne mooy si National Assembly bi ñi nga xamante ne ñooy ministre yi ak ki nga xamante ne mooy deputy speaker bi Sidi Jaay mu ngi noonu ànd ak ki nga xamante ne mooy njiiti réew mi fi mu nekk nii mu ngi taxaw pour ñu wax li nga xamante ne mooy bàkkum réew mi jaados hani bi dorong président o futata nang dulame yalan ko wole banko la bongu bati comme ika fo nyameng dorong sainteng abe lorine pour yana National Assembly fo
barka bake Ramatullah badigol doron kaliya moy nyame Ramatullah ya fa nyame surwa kangoti president Adama Barrow afele nyin tembe na doron afutata nan damenti yala wolto mu banko la bumbati wala wolto mu banko la bantabati banko la ko kakacha damento angale kangoto e ka fa National Assembly mbi yana banko nyaton ko du nata futata doron memu uniform tiolti fa
ñu jël li nga xamante ne mooy groupe photo den ki nga xamante ne mooy njiiti réew mi mu dugga si biir bu duggee rek su ko defee ñu tatagal ko mu ñëw nag toog speaker bi tamit joxe ay kàddoom président bi nag ekkati kàddoom yi fii tey nag si State of the Nation address bi nii dinañ si expect dégg yu bare bari ndaxte ki nga xamante ne mooy njiiti réew mi lii benn yoon la koy def ci at bi ñëw wax ak askan bi lam liggéey lam achieve ak jafe-jafeem yi ak askan gi tamit seeni soxla ndaxte loolu dafay am solo lool ndaxte jamono ji askan bi bugg nañ président bi indi ay leeral ak wax fànn yu bare bari ci wàllum xaalis suñ dépasse ñaata lañ si dépasse ci wàllum wérgu yaram ci wàllum security ci wàllum dund gi ci wàllum agriculture dinañ foofu bépp fànn rek président bi dina si indi leeral ak président bi dina si indi soxla nit yi mu waxtaanee ko ndaxte loolu dafay am solo ndaxte réew mu nekk ñi nga xamante ne ñooy askan gi bëgg nañoo xam nguur gi nga xamante ne yaakaar nañ ko ba teg ko naka la ñuy doxalee seeni nguur naka la ñuy tërëree ndaxte bari na fànn yu baree bari ñi nga xamante ne ñooy askan bi ñoom la ñuy jël seen xaalis di leen ko fayee kon xaalis askan gi fu muy dugg war nañ koo càmbar war nañ koo xool ndaxte soo xoolee ni réew mi di réewum Gambia réew mu ndaw la waaye réew mi di réewum Gambia am na ay jooytu yu baree bari ak ay suuxi yu baree bari yi nga xamante ne njiit yi di président Barrow am na si taxawaay te war na see taxaw loolu dina am solo lool ba léegi rek Moussa président bi mu ngi noonu mu ngi saafu wanteeg ñi nga xamante ne jamono ji ki nga xamante ne mooy njiiti réew mi président Barrow mu ngi taxaw ak speaker of the National Assembly di Fabakary Tombong Jatta mu ngi saafu wanteeg liggéeykat yi kooku noonu nekk honorable mu ngi saafu wante ñi nga xamante ne ñooy National Assembly members yi di ñii di pencum ndawi réew mi ñooñ la muy président bi di saafu wanteel noonu di wax ak ñoom mu nekk li nga xamante ne baax la at bu jot président bi su ñëwee bala moo dugg fi nga xamante ne mooy si pencum ndawi réew mi dina saafu wanteeg ñi nga xamante ne ñooy National Assembly members yi saafu wanteeg ñoom wax ak ñoom su paree jël ak ñoom li nga xamante ne mooy nataal den ñu dugg foofu ca biir ñu waxtaanee nag mbiri réew mi mbokk yi ba léegi rek yéen a ngi seetaan li nga xamante ne mooy Gambian Talents TV yéen a ngi fii live and direct si National Assembly bi muy pencum ndawi réew mi tey nag li ñu fi dajale rek mooy li nga xamante ne mooy State of the Nation address nee naa leen ne State of the Nation address soo ko déggee moo nekk li nga xamante ne at bu jot benn yoon mandatory la ci njiit bi nga xamante ne fal nañ ko muy njiiti réew mi mu ñëw fii ci pencum ndaw réew mi ñëw waxtaan ak askan bi ndaxte réew mu ne soxla na ñu wax naka laay réew mi di demee naka laay nguur gi di tëralee ay mbiram yan yokkute la am ba pare tamit dina waxtaan si jafe-jafe yi nga xamante ne askan bi ñu ngi koy dund lan la si indi yan loolu dina am solo lool bu baax a baax gis nga ko ba léegi rek njiiti réew mi moom nag mu ngi taxaw ak ki nga xamante ne mooy Fabakary Tombong Jatta di Speaker of the National Assembly moom nag mu ngi saafu wante ñi nga xamante ne ñooy pencum ndawi réew mi a jaado sani bi dorong president oɓe lorin ñim kake every year nan ata jannaɓe dunna National Assembly bungoto aning National Assembly members all foy sa ñoo kontong aning National Assembly member la doku laal ye ñoo kontong isaje ni preta ye natalota asina ay dum konoto sainteng aning Fabakary Tombong Jatta wolle be lorin
abarka bake rahmatullahi ko yafa nyamen daro walam toñati president Adama Barrow fela futatana banko la banta bato damenti ala walam e kafaye ko National Assembly nadi amay National Assembly doro wala mu manika kangoto doro wala mu banko la banta bati banko la pol ka kacha damento luwala karola lemba fonna development wala karola lemba ñun lemu multi men yalon ko to la ka ko kacha andi ko korda don suutiyo le bala woto biya kamunna president Adama Barrow anate idan ko National Assembly la suutiyo le ma ani men yalon ko wollebe suutiyo la dimbayal wala mu député wolti bidun kukuma balbe kacala wala president be kukuma kacala comme loi bu ko yalla ndi nyamen doron sango sana doron president o nyanta nala idan kula député bu ngotole anala departmentol be ka joko ye do ko menke nyi sanji kilungo men tambita wala nyi kartan ni flo men tambita doron kana ka 5 ans banku dingol ye wala isaje banku dingol salon president o nala moli ye simfal menuta pour ka banko samba nyato wala ka do ko ke banko kanja wo kuma yata bakele woto dron a ñaaje tumo men nan a futata nan ay na uniforme tiyolu tale ay niaye ño sama ño konton wo kolala dron inata banko la fore ya julota ka kosaye memun na national anthem ti ay ka fa e foda Gambia no bota jedo ngaje anin do kulal fana ye ño kontangol ke ye blodi ño la ka ño konton wo kolala ngaje anin fa bakal tombo njaata hani say ito lebe lorindron ka jako ka kontondiro ko fo janning abeduna bungo kono ramatulay
jere ko mi ngata ba legi rek fa samba ben kala mun dula mu ma yegal ne ki nga xamantene moy lawyer Ousainou Dabo jamono bi mu ngi fi nga xamantene moy si ndaje mi ak ki nga xamantene moy former vice president bi di Fatmata Jallow Tambajang mom tam mu fi former minister of health bi ak tourism ñom ñep ñu fi mu nekk lu am solo ki nga xamantene tamit moy Dr. Aïssatou Ndiaye Seydi former vice president bu Yaya Jammeh mom tamit mu ngi si ndaje mi Amat Ba tamit momit mu ngi ci biir exina nekk na lu am solo jamono ji dafa melni bés bi tay bés bu màgg la ci Gambia bi ba nga xamantene amut xaj ak seen ndaxte yëf réew mi la te yëf réew mi suñ ko waxee xamul ban political party nga bokk yaa xam nga nekk UDP yaa xam nga nekk NRP yaa xam nga nekk GDC yaa xam foo ci munta nekk rek dangay ñëw teewee ko ndaxte state of the nation address lañ wax te suñ waxee state of the nation address omba na ponk yëpp ndaxte fànn bu nekk secteur bu nekk rek président bi dina ci laal nga ñëw déglu ndax président bi li wax mooy li nga xamantene looloo am wala yokkute yi nga xamantene am na ndax gis nañ ko loolu nekk na li nga am solo ba tax na fépp fu nit munta nekk yaa xam ambassadeur nga yaa xam ministre nga yaa xam kansilo nga ñëpp nara ñëw teewlu bés bi nii comme ni ma ko waxee nag ñëpp mënu ñëw dugga si loolu am na solo waaye nag ñi nga xamante ne xonoon nañ leen jox nañ leen invitation moo waral tey télé yëpp nekk fi dalee ko ca GRTS ba ñëw si Gambian Talents TV ak yeneeni plateforme yëpp ñu ngi fi pour génneel leen li nga xamante ne mooy xew fii tey ci pencum ndawi réew mi ndaxte suñ ne pencum ndawi réew mi nekk na béréb bi nga xamante ne béréb boobu la ñuy defaree luwaa yi béréb boobu la ñuy tëralee bépp doxalin bi nga xamante ne mooy yóbbu réew mi ca kanam kon béréb bi nekk na béréb bi nga xamante ne réew mi fonk nañ ko lool jamono ji nag ba léegi président bi mu ngi saafu wanteen ñi nga xamante ne ñooy liggéeykat yi pencum ndawi réew mi nekk na lu am solo mu ngi wax ak ñoom soo xoolee tey Barrow xaftaan gu weex tal la sol loolu noonu dafa mel ni jàmm la represent ndaxte waaye dafa nekk li nga xamante ne peace rek la represent kon tey Barrow mu ngi ci xaftaanam bu weex mu nekk loolu nekk na lu am solo boo ko xoolee kar xanamam ba mu nga leer kooku di Jibeeru Jaane jamono ji moo taxaw di wax di saafu wanteeg ki nga xamante ne mooy président yi réew mi loolu am na solo loolu jaadoos comme ni ma fi lim nii yëpp tey commencé ko si ñoom ba Ousseynou bay ñëw si suuf ak ki nga xamante ne mooy Dr Aïssatou Ndiaye Seydi former vice président bu Yaya Jammeh bi mu ngi ci réew mi ndaxte tey kooku nekk na kenn si ki nga xamante ne ci réew mi askan gi duñ ko mën a fàtte noonu ndaxte moom it nekkoon na fi li nga xamante ne mooy vice président te am na lu mu fi def tamit lu ndaw kon tey yi mel ni su xewee ñu xono ko jox ko invitation mu teewee ko nga xamante ne moom it amoon na fi ay jamono bu président bi ñëwee address nation bi ba pare moom mi nga xamante ne mooy vice président bi moom mooy ñëw jàkkaarloo waat ak National Assembly members yi debate bi nga xamante ne dañ koy amal ndaxte su président bi waxee ba pare address nation bi ba pare duñ ko bàyyee noonu ñi nga xamante ne ñooy pencum ndawi réew mi ñoom it dinañ koy càmbar xoolaat ko seen ndax koppar yu wax ne moom lañ dugal si yenn béréb yi dinañ ko vérifier ak seet yokkute yu wax ndax yooyu yu am la wala place yi wax ne am na fa kenn ku nekk dinañ ko dibéet su ko defee ki nga xamante ne mooy vice président bi moom nag mooy ñëw di tontu laaj yooyu noonu te tey moom it taxawoon na place bi kon tey gis nañ fi ki nga xamante ne mooy suñ vice président bi moom tamit nekk na ki nga xamante ne mu nga foofu si biir gis nañ ko ne ñëw na si suba moom it mu ngi foofu si biir te xam ne moom dina ñëw nekk ci moom it monde debate bi moom mooy ñëw tontu ñi nga xamante ne ñooy National Assembly members yi jamono ji comme ni ma leen ko waxee rek njiiti réew mi lii nag dañ koy faral di def saa su ne su dugga see si building bi ba pare bem saafu wanteeg liggéeykat yi dina jël nataal ak ñi nga xamante ne ñooy National Assembly members yi jamono ji ki nga xamante ne mooy Sidi Ndiaye mu nga toog ca booram ak Fabakary Tombong Jatta ak ki nga xamante ne mooy majority and minority leader bi ñoom ñëpp ñu ngi toog foofu jamono ji nag jaados ñu ngi jël nataal lii nataal bi nag at bu jot dañ koy def su saafu wanteeg askan gi ba pare
abarka bake ko yafu nyamen dron nyin tembe na dron former vice president ol futata nam National Assembly member ko Ousainou Darboe honorable Ousainou Darboe party leader of United Democratic Party futata na National Assembly ayala sidulata former vice president Fatmata Jallow Tambajang tafana mumoti me yalon ko ayala place o tale nyin tembe na president former membe Kerin Sandro president o fele ay natalo tala tumo men anin député wala anin do kulal men bebe National Assembly ye natalo tale be du amina kan dun kan kono to kataje ko ba jannabe dun kono to fana fo sojarol fele ansafa uniform tiol fele ebe saluto taka walla ebe paret ke kanga e nyin tembenna kaje ko jannabi taala sidula taala wol fanansa pamisono tabulu bar fanan ron ka tenten ron ka faali ko Fatmata Jallow Tambajang former vice president afanam be janne former vice president Aïssatou Ndiaye Seydi menketa former president wala vice president o nyin tembenna afanam be National Assembly kaje ko afane na la place ota comme na collègue ya fa nyame ñi mu fenati me yalon ko banko la kuolem banko la loi bu ko banko be den tamenna ka dada ka landi National Assembly yo loi la ta kaje ko ka simfal ta kana mabe president la address to abe menke kan National Assembly ñin temben na dron woto dron be present vice president o afana be janne ñi temben
ya jale membe Kering sainteng membu Aliou Mamad Ndiaye the chairman of the IEC wo fanang be janne various governors min keta governolti anin sefol ibebe janne mo men yalon ko ibota ambassador comme nga foj namen dorong ñom ñep ñu ci ndaje bi time bi ki nga xamantene moy Alhaji Mamad Ndiaye the chairman of the IEC mom tam mu fi governors tamit ñu fi mu nekk lu am solo jamono ji ki nga xamantene moy njiti réew mi mu ngi duga ci fi nga xamantene moy si néegi député yi pour jàkkaarloog député yi ñëw address nation bi moom lañ soxla jamono ji nekk na li nga xamantene loolu dina am solo lool ba léegi rek ki nga xamante ne mooy Miss Tabu Njaay moom tamit mu ngi fi fi nga xamante ne mooy ci ndaje mii nii tey nag di nga fi gis ñu baree bari ñi nga xamante ne ay borom nomba tànk lañ ñi nga xamante ne dañ jógee ko ci réew mi fu nekk nanaa leen ne waa CRR ñu ngi fi waa LRR ñu ngi fi ndaxte suñ waxee State of the Nation address oote bu mag la dee nekk ndaxte tey ki nga xamante ne mooy njiiti réew mi dina taxaw mu wax ak askan gi dina taxaw mu wax lépp li nga xamante ne mooy xew fii nii time bi nag njiiti réew mi mu ngi dugga si fi nga xamante ne mooy ci pencum ndawi réew mi député yaa ngi noonu di jëlaat seen place yi gannaaw bi nga xamante ne génn nañ pour dem tatagali président bi jël ak moom nataal su ko defee nag ñu ñëw toog ñëw tatagalaat ki nga xamante ne mooy njiiti réew mi teeru ko mu dugga fi nga xamante ne mooy ci pencum ndawi réew mi su ko defee nag mu toog bu toogee ki nga xamante ne mooy speaker bi dina ekkati kàddoom bu ekkatee kàddu ba pare njiiti réew mi nag ñëw adresse réew mi tey nag ñuy expect yu bëree bëri comme ni ma ko waxee rek ndaxte jamono ji ki nga xamante ne mooy njiiti réew mi dina am yu bëri achievement yu bëri yu muy wax Gambien si waaye Gambien si tamit dinañ bugg a déglu lu bëree bëri yi nga xamante ne comme suula nañ ko wala ay jafe-jafe la askan gaa ngi koy jànkuwante wala luñ war a leeral si fànnum government bi wala luñ war a yokk ci fànnum secteur bu nekk tey askan gi bugga nañoo dégg loolu ndax te at bu jot su ñëwee rek dina wax last year bi muy wax ci wàllum njàng mi nit yi toogoon nañ di ko déglu ba seet fan laay wanante du mut ak gitam waaye ba tey dafa mel ni foofu mu ngi xala sooxe waxoon na tamit ci wàllum li nga xamante ne mooy wérgu yaram gis nga ko soo xoolee jamono ji fànn bi di wérgu yaram bari na wax bu nga xamante ne war nañ koo càmbar xoolaat ko ak yan jéego lañ see def loolu dina am solo ba léegi rek ki nga xamante ne mooy Ramatulaay Gueye ak ki nga xamante ne mooy Fatou Jaadama ñoom ñoo leen nekkal fii fi nga xamante ne mooy ci pencum ndawi réew mi Gambian Talents nag saa su ne nii lañ koy defee ñëw rek waxtaan ak askan gi wax ak askan gi déglu leen dina nekkal lu am solo ndaxte lu ñëpp bokk lu ne ku ne nga ca te réew mi ñun ñëpp a ko bokk ku ne am na sa cër anti jaadoos ma bàyyi la rek jamono ji ki nga xamante ne mooy njiiti réew mi dugga si na fi nga xamante ne mooy ci house bi mu ngi waaj a dugga si house bi gannaaw bu mu saafu wanteeg MPC ba pare loolu nekk na lu am solo jaadoos
abaraka ko yafa ñame tumo menna president Adama Barrow ani moliye ñoo konton kedron ñin temben afele afanan dunta député bu ngo konole ani député wolu be siri ye ñaati li ñola bar ko yafa ñame doron gambian kolu be la fila ku jamalon na ñin sanju kilingo men tambita wala ñin karitan nin fulo men tambita doron e be la fila kumolu moy la president Adama Barrow bulle ye achievement men ke ani muna muy la mira roti ka banko samba ñaato atemela bakedron président be diamo tala ka diamo ke bal janin président ba diamo lambe ya dalta jala ñamen dron memo speaker of the house ti memo Fabakary Tombong Jattati telefolo be diamo tala ka bunda ele président Adama Barrow wo kola dron Adama Barrow sinala kuwolu dante bare la njikita ko abe kumol fola men yalon ko wala mu banko la problème moti ñin tembenna wala banko be ñaatinin kam problème mol menna bar fanan abe kumol falale ay ñaato tali men ke ñin sañ 2024 kono abe o kuma kangol fanan na fere je ko ngafo ñamem ni ko banko la ñaato taybe folo la men kono wala mun senola bundati to momen ngalon ko mbulata sama kono le ngalon ko abe senola ko kacala bake ni natan karangola fanna la fanan abe woto fanan kacala bakele bari ni natan jata kende ya fanan na bundala ngalon ko abe woto fanan kacala bake abe kaca dinon dila jele bari fanan na tourism la bundala memun tourism ti fanan abe je dinon dila bakele katum banko bukatano nyulu fana ka president ta ka kontibo wala ani ministal ani fengo fi yalon drom banko la place le bebulu tebe do ko ke kam banko le wala tinna wato bela drom ni sanji kilin president kane danku député wol ma député bu ngoto ka landir ke député wol nyaakoto kula me yalon ko atenala mansa kundabe wala ke kan wala nyimem mula mira rolte wala bojetolu men ta ke landi ka je ko mansa kunda e tamandir ke o bojetol la adunta damento ani ye mun leke je ani ye mun tamandir leke je bitun député wol financina si wo ko lala ka debate ka kuola ka ko kisi ka jibe president o men fo anabe laari nyamen doron wo mu fenti me yalon ko akuma yata bakele katun député wol fanan e sindi wala député bu ngoto ka na nyaton ko li kontibo ka je ko la ko bita ka nyamen bar ngaje fanan ko sainteng pra ngaje president advisor menketa Mamadou Sabaliti afanambe siri nyinte menna ya la place ota banko uniform tiol fanambe siri be la place ota ani minister nga Amad Banyol nge beji janne be la place ota nyinte menne be mine la moy kam president bar banko dingol fanan jama ba finti tanane kanana national assembly ke la moy president la Amina Kumolu men fola woto don alingal minal la moy la don wala meduna saliba kono kaje ko nga lamoy munebe kerin saliba kono nyin tembenna president obe parela dro wala fo janni men be konoto be parela doron woto hansa doron minala dunana kolu kono men yalon ko wolle be kerim banko kanjang wato be la ka kuma ya doron barka hakilo bulande Gambia Talents TV mbali life and direct National Assembly le woto doron ni memma jemuta e borye jemuta don ke lamoy me yalon ko wolbe keriñ temben na banko kanjang kal hakilo bulandi donon ko president Adama Barrow afele adunta nan kono to le temben na kala sidulata kaje ko kanadia mu banku dingoliya abakumma yala bakele wato bela banku dingol kala file ke lamoy parandirol be ke kanne saintem bungo kono be parandirol ke kan kaje ko speaker sina diamu speaker la diamu ko la doron president Adama Barrow sina speaker fele nyin tembe na fanam bita kan ba député wol be wulita kon dal tajala nyame kanyo bunya kanyo horoma doron ni speaker dun tanon kono to député wol be sa wuli yelo kaje ko fajannin député o bala sidu ay speaker bala sidu la tala president Adama Barrow afanam fele tumo men na fabaka tombo njaata tambita doron kala sidu lata wala doron afanam fele amina kan kala sidu lata afanam fele afene sainteng bala sidula takan president fele nyintem afanam belorori afanam belorori na dron kaje ko be duwa lela sign député bu kono National Assembly député belorori ne ani kalani president of kaje ko kadua ke folo wakola isina kuol dael ramatulay president fele amina la sidula tala
president Barrow badugana fi nga xamantene moy ci pencum ndawi rew mi koku nonu di speaker bi
Communication from the Chair. Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of the Gambia, Mr. Adama Barrow. Your Excellency, the Vice President of the Republic, my Lord, the Chief Justice of the Gambia, and Justices of the Superior Courts, former Vice Presidents here in present, former Deputy Speakers of the National Assembly, Honorable Deputy Speaker and Honorable Members of the National Assembly, Honorable Cabinet Ministers here in present, former members of the National Assembly, members of the Diplomatic and Consular Corps, Secretary General and Head of the Civil Service, Chief of Staff, Office of the President, regional governors, non-mayors and chairpersons of area councils, service chiefs, leaders of political parties, senior government officials, venerable religious leaders, our distinguished invited guests, the press, and all other protocols duly observed. Honorable members, in accordance with Section 77(1) of the 1997 Constitution and Order 21 of the Standing Orders, His Excellency Mr. Adama Barrow, President of the Republic of the Gambia, is here today to attend and address a sitting of the National Assembly on the condition of the Gambia, the policies of the government, and the administration of the state for the 2024 legislative year. We are here together as a nation to witness a significant event in the life of our democracy. That is the President's State of the Nation address. In this regard, I wish to extend on behalf of both sides of the Assembly a warm welcome to His Excellency the President to his hallowed chamber. Your Excellency, we are deeply honored by your presence and look forward to your insightful address, which will provide us with an overview of the current state of our nation, the progress we have made, and the promises and challenges that lie ahead. Honorable members, His Excellency's presence in this Assembly today is also significant in our parliamentary calendar. It enables honorable members of the legislature to have the opportunity to hear from the head of the executive on the condition of the Gambia, the policies of the government, and the administration of the state. Traditionally, this particular sitting of the Assembly attracts Gambians and people from all walks of life. Therefore, on behalf of both sides of the Assembly, I welcome you all. Your presence underscores the importance of this occasion and the collective commitment we share in shaping the future of our country. On that note, honorable members, I wish to once again welcome His Excellency the President to the National Assembly in fulfillment of his constitutional mandate. I thank you all. Clerk, can we proceed?
Motion. State of the Nation Address 2024 by His Excellency, the President of the Republic of the Gambia.
Honorable members, I have the singular honor and privilege to invite His Excellency, President Adama Barrow, President of the Republic of the Gambia, to deliver his speech. Your Excellency.
Honorable Speaker of the National Assembly, honorable members of the National Assembly, Your Excellency, the Vice President, Your Worship, the Chief Justice of the Gambia, Excellencies, former Vice presidents, Excellencies, members of the diplomatic and the consular corps, senior public officials and service chiefs, party leaders, honorable religious leaders, distinguished personalities, ladies and gentlemen. In accordance with Section 77(1) of the Constitution, it is my honor to address this august body on the country's current state of affairs. The address provides an update on my administration's performance during the 2023 calendar year, with focus on government policies, programs, legislative frameworks, and plans for the future. This will be linked to our national plans and the influence of global developments on the nation. Departing from the traditional sector-by-sector presentation, my address today is thematized around the productive and social sectors respectively. It is concise but gives a clear picture of the nation's development trend. With this short introduction, I will proceed to briefly situate our foreign policy within the global context. The Gambia's foreign policy context. Honorable Speaker, we are in trying circumstances globally, facing geopolitical events that breed distrust, enmity, and mounting despair to generate unified action for global peace and stability. There is widespread unrest around the globe, and the presence of jihadists, terrorists, and rebels in the Sahel and in other parts of Africa continues to undermine progress towards democracy and development on the continent. West Africa in particular has recently experienced mixed fortunes with democratic transitions in Ivory Coast, Nigeria, and lately Senegal. In contrast, military disruptions in Guinea-Conakry, Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali have threatened constitutional order in the region. Linking the international context to our national circumstances, with specific reference to our foreign policy, the Gambia remains committed to tackling global challenges to reinforce multilateralism, democracy, and promotion of global solidarity. To safeguard our sovereignty and socio-economic ambitions, my government will steadfastly promote a foreign policy aligned with our national interests. Specifically, keen focus will remain cast on debt relief, climate financing, equitable trade, and fulfillment of the Sustainable Development Goals to ensure prosperity. Above all, security, peace, stability, and development will remain at the center of our engagements. Mr. Speaker, our resolve is to intensify engagements with global and regional bodies such as the UN, AU, ECOWAS, and the OIC to achieve our national development goals. In the process, we will pursue the renewal of the Gambia's membership in the United Nations Human Rights Council and the African Union Peace and Security Council for 2 years. As evidence of our increasingly successful foreign policy, the UN Secretary General has declared the Gambia eligible to continue receiving funding amounting to $30 million from the UN Peace Building Commission for an order 5 years.
closely related to our international visibility is the 15th OIC Summit we successfully hosted last month, during which I became chairman of the organization for the next 3 years. The summit has added great impetus to our international prominence. I re-echo my gratitude to all Gambians and international partners who contributed to the successful hosting of the summit. Proudly for us, the event was rated as one of the most successful summits in the history of the organization. At the bilateral level, we aim to deepen relationships with our partners and explore new fronts that would benefit the nation. The establishment of 2 new embassies in Europe and 1 in Asia, as approved by this distinguished assembly, is a move in that direction. As confirmation of our growing friendship and bilateral relations around the world, 30 diplomats presented their letters of credence to me during last year. In strengthening good neighborliness, we hosted the 3rd biannual Senegalo-Gambian Presidential Council in August 2023 and the maiden walking visit of the new Senegalese president last April. Honorable Speaker, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs is in the process of validating its draft foreign service regulation and draft posting policy, in addition to a foreign service bill which will be submitted to the Cabinet for review and approval. These are part of broader efforts to reposition our foreign policy, streamline foreign service operations, and enhance the professionalism and efficiency of our foreign service. Our objective at home and abroad would fail without a strong economy, reliable human resource, and the required infrastructure programs and development efforts. I will therefore turn attention to the economy before moving onto the productive sector that sustains it. The economy. Honorable Speaker, in 2023, the Gambian economy surpassed the projected growth rate for sub-Saharan Africa and stood at 5.3%. This resulted from our commitment to economic growth and prosperity, reducing inflation and our debt vulnerability while maintaining prudent fiscal policy. Over the years, we have been implementing a series of public financial management reforms. These are reflected in such initiatives as the updating of the 2014 Public Finance Act and formulation of a new public procurement bill. We have also rolled out the Integrated Financial Management Information Systems, IFMIS, to all local government authorities, created the State-Owned Enterprise Commission, and enacted the Anti-Corruption Act 2023. The reforms seek to increase fiscal transparency and accountability. As a welcome development, the International Monetary Fund has approved a new $100 million extended credit facility arrangement with the Gambia, thereby further supporting our economic recovery and structural reforms. In addition, different from the $25 million threshold program to support our electricity and river transport development endeavors, the Gambia has been selected to develop a $300 million development compact with the United States through its MCC. Strategically, we recently launched a $1 billion recovery-focused National Development Plan, YIRWA 2023-2027, which builds on the progress made during my first term in office. I am optimistic that the economy will continue to grow stronger. Agriculture and natural resources. Honorable Speaker. Agriculture and our natural resources are crucially important feeders of our economy. As one of the productive sectors, agriculture in the country
did not perform badly in 2023 season. It benefited from a favorable weather and timely government interventions, such as provision of free plowing services, free seeds, and heavily subsidized fertilizers for many farmers. Consequently, cereal production increased by 21%, rice by 27%, maize by 25%, millet by 14%, and sorghum by 17%. The cash crops also increased those groundnuts by 12%, cowpeas by 26%, findo by 9%, and sesame by 6%. In all, last year, agriculture contributed 25.5% of the GDP. This indicates a slight decrease from 25.7% in 2022, translating into a decrease of 0.2 percentage points. In the 2023-2024 season, the government allocated $1.5 billion for purchase of groundnuts, acquiring about 38,669 metric tons. These mark a significant increase over 10,000 metric tons purchased in the previous season. Looking ahead to the 2024-25 cropping season, we plan to bring 5,000 hectares under rice cultivation, a target that could rise substantially if 10 registered commercial farmers in the scheme commence cultivation. In support of the National Food Security Drive, government will procure 180 tractors and 20 rotavator boards for year-round deployment. Additionally, we will enhance rice processing within the country's irrigated hubs through irrigated equipment training processors and expanding irrigation facilities. This year, my government will distribute rice, groundnut, maize, and bean seeds to farmers to help them boost production. There is already enough fertilizer in country, and it will be sold to the farmers at a subsidized price at different locations across the country. To improve financial exclusivity, we plan to extend matching grant funds to microfinance institutions that operate close to the communities at grassroots levels. We also plan to integrate modern technologies like ICT for internet banking and mobile phones into the farming communities and establish at least 5 agricultural insurance schemes to mitigate risks in agricultural lending. These schemes will be managed through public-private partnership. Among many other interventions, the Gambia Agricultural Transformation Program, which seeks to bolster food and nutrition security through sustainable management of our natural resources, will strengthen both the public and private sector across the agricultural value chain. Fisheries and water resources, Honorable Speaker. This is another productive sector that contributes to the economy. Due to several factors, however, the total revenue collected from the fisheries sector decreased from $131,595,269 in 2022 to $110,802,912 in 2023, representing a decrease of $20,792,357, or about 15.8%. To get the most from the sector, my government is actively reviewing its fishing licensing regime to increase protection for artisanal fishers and ensure fair and sustainable management of our fisheries resources. Consequently, the Ministry of Fisheries, Water Resources and National Assembly Matters has initiated the construction of 20 fishing boats with fishing equipment to enhance the livelihood of the youth and women and reduce illegal migration. Also, the ministry is constructing fish ponds in Kuloro through a funding partnership with the EU to boost fish production. The $25 million Climate Resilience Fishery Initiative for the Livelihood Improvement Project, funded by the Green Climate Fund, aims to conserve and protect fisheries resources while strengthening the climate resilience of fishing communities. To minimize post-harvest losses and promote the hygiene and quality fish products, during the period under review, the ministry built 2 fishing landing platforms in Gunjur and Tanje and constructed access roads linking these sites to markets. Mr. Speaker, the Gambia has made significant strides in improving equitable access to safe drinking water, with 90% of the population provided with better water resources in 2023, up from 86% in 2010. I must observe, however, the figure stands at 83% in rural areas. Additional efforts are needed to bridge the gap by increasing access to safe drinking water in our rural communities. In particular, last year, we implemented a mini borehole drilling project with a budget of $10 million for the government local fund, from the government local fund. 15 communities now have access to safe and high-quality drinking water through the project. In collaboration with the African Development Bank Group and Japan, my government targets to install 130 large solar-powered pipe water systems to benefit 162 communities and an estimated 280,000 people. To this end, 20 boreholes were inaugurated in December 2023, 55 have been installed, and the remaining 55 will be completed in 2025. My government will not relent in sustaining these efforts. Transport, works, and infrastructure. Honorable Speaker. Inspired by the principle that roads connect people and foster prosperity, our commitment to develop comprehensive transport infrastructure remains unwavering. In accordance with our Recovery-Focused National Development Plan, RFNDP, significant progress has been made in both urban and rural roads development. The Barton-Harding Highway and its feeder roads, for example, are near completion. The rural roads program, stretching 365 kilometers and fully funded by the national budget, is advancing smoothly. In 2023, Mr. Speaker, we completed the Salum, Nyanija, and Sabasanjal roads. By the end of 2024, we expect to complete Kiang West roads, Nyomi Hakalang, and a significant portion of the 365 kilometers of roads nationwide. On water transportation, we are concluding a concession contract with Albrak Company Limited, which will further enhance port efficiency. The contract includes development of a new deep-sea port in Sanya. Apart from refurbishing all ferries, we have procured 2 new ferries and are awaiting their delivery. These initiatives will guarantee reliable and safe ferry services on the Banjul-Bara route. In addition, we have partnered with the private sector to upgrade the Banjul shipyard to support the ferries as well as other craft and industrial fishing vessels. This will contribute to boosting skills development and job opportunities. The transport sector contributes significantly to the economy. The Gambia Port Authority, for instance, recorded revenue collection of $1.563 billion in 2023, representing a 2% increase over $1.534 billion collected in 2023. Similarly, the authority registered a 20.4% increment in its gross profit in 2023 of $1.199 billion compared to $996.134 million in 2022. Unfortunately, due to high operational costs and the negative impact of the exchange rate on the authority's revenue, a marginal increase of just 2% in revenue was recorded for the year. Honorable Speaker, in the area of aviation and maritime operations, aside from undertaking comprehensive reforms to align operations with international standards and best practice, we are inviting our human capital for a viable skilled workforce. In this respect, 23 students are currently sponsored at the Regional Maritime University in Ghana, studying various engineering fields. All the first cohort of students graduated with distinction. Mr. Speaker, to conclude, the Gambia Transport Service Company has significantly improved public transport, offering safe, affordable, and reliable transportation options across the country. Tourism and culture. Honorable Speaker, the tourism sector has demonstrated remarkable resilience, growing in tourism arrivals over the past 3 years and making a significant contribution to the Gambia's economic development. In 2023, there was a 13% increase in tourism arrival, totaling to 206,836 compared to 182,795 in 2022. The increase in arrival has translated into revenue increase from 168 million point 19 in 2022 to 333 million point 12 in 2023. These reflect a robust recovery and growth in the sector. In view of the importance of the tourism sector, we will not relent in improving our promotion strategies, infrastructure, products and service to improve access to major hotels along the tourism development area. Therefore, 3 road projects are near completion. Other plans include further promoting community-based ecotourism and domestic tourism. In the cultural sector, the Ministry of Tourism established the National Endowment Fund for Arts and Culture in 2023. Following cabinet endorsement, the fund will be operational in 2024 to provide a steady source of support for Gambians' arts and culture programs. On legislation, the Gambia has ratified 2 major UNESCO conventions, namely the 2001 Convention on the Protection of Underwater Heritage and the 1970 Convention against illicit transfer of cultural goods. Both became effective on 10 February 2024. Trade, industry, regional integration, and employment. Honorable Speaker, through the Ministry of Trade, Industry, Regional Integration, and Employment, my administration remains committed to enhancing trade, fostering private sector development, propelling industrialization, and ensuring the effective functioning of the labor market. Recent measures to mitigate external shocks thus include stabilizing prices and ensuring the availability of essential food commodities. Furthermore, we now give priority to vessels carrying essential goods to avoid undue charges, and we provide subsidies for flour and fuel. We also engage with the central bank to ensure foreign exchange availability for essential commodity suppliers. In 2023, the administration negotiated with the government of India and secured a waiver for rice imports on a concessional basis, with a new extension granted for 2024. This incorporates an allocated quota of 150,000 metric tons for the Gambia. Discussions to include sugar in this waiver support are progressing. In collaboration with the Ministry of Finance, the country secured a $50 million trade finance facility from Badia to support the importation of essential food commodities and fuel. The facility is to facilitate continuous availability and affordability of these commodities. Mr. Speaker, the People's Republic of China granted the Gambia duty-free quota-free market access in 2017 for products like groundnuts, cashew, sesame, fish, and cassava. In 2023, this coverage was extended to include 98% of the Chinese tariff. To take advantage of the African Continental Free Trade Area, we have launched the Green Industrial Transformation through Special Economic Zones and Agropoles program. The objective is to establish a climate-resilient, sustainable special economic zone and 3 agropoles to accelerate manufacturing and agricultural transformation. I am happy to add that there is funding from the African Development Bank for a feasibility study to establish a special economic zone along the Senegambia Bridge. An Indian consulting firm has been recruited to conduct the study. Also, we have secured $100,000 from the ECOWAS Commission to modernize the Wellingaraba-Lumo for cross-border trade facilitation. In the area of industrialization, the construction of a special economic zone along the Senegambia Bridge corridor is underway, with significant investments projected to create over 1,000 jobs. In the same vein, the Gambia Standards Bureau has developed over 100 national standards to improve market access for Gambian products, and a food testing laboratory is under construction to support national quality infrastructure. The government has also launched the new employment policy 2023-2028 and enacted a revised Labour Act to enhance employment conditions and productivity. These efforts reflect our commitment to strengthening the economy, protecting consumer rights, and ensuring fair competition. Besides this act, there is a legal methodology bill to replace the Ways and Measures Act of 1977. Mr. Speaker, the Gambia Competition and Consumer Protection Corporation administered 116 consumer cases in 2023 and recovered substantial amount of money through its alternative dispute resolution mechanism. Despite this, there are plans to amend the Competition and Consumer Protection Act and develop a merger review regulation framework. Relative to employment, a national labor force survey to assess employment trends and challenges that have been conducted. We are equally working hard to equip our youth and essential skills for gainful employment and entrepreneurship. Likewise, we have signed bilateral agreements with Saudi Arabia and the UAE to facilitate secured transparent employment opportunities for our youth abroad. These efforts are aimed at building our trade capacity, improving labor market conditions, and supporting the nation's economic growth. They will also contribute to realizing our target of creating 150,000 jobs opportunities over a 5-year period. Petroleum and Energy, Honorable Speaker. The Ministry of Petroleum and Energy has been actively engaged in issues of access, affordability, and sustainable utilization of energy resources through regulation and various programs and projects. Inspired by the government's Energy Roadmap 2021-2040, the National Water and Electricity Company, NAWEC, has embarked on transforming energy and water provision nationwide. The roadmap targets universal access to electricity by 2025, including specific national integrated water resources management targets. Notably, NAWEC is implementing a significant electricity access project to connect over 800 communities across the country to electricity. In a major development for the Gambia's energy sector, the company commissioned a 23-megawatt solar power plant in Jambur. This significant addition to the grid is expected to generate more clean energy and reduce operational costs. In the geological sector, the focus remains on the sustainable use of mineral resources essential for the construction industry. Specifically, the demand for sand in 2023 exceeded 1 million cubic meters due to extensive infrastructural development. Although the mining sector generated $172,962,922 as revenue during the reporting period. Sand, gravel, and other heavy mineral concentrates contributed significantly to this achievement. The Gambia National Petroleum Corporation, GNPC, continues to pursue energy security by exploring and developing the country's petroleum resources. It has engaged in power purchase agreement and partnership for crude oil exploration and capacity development with entities like the Nigeria National Petroleum Corporation and Guinea-Conakry's SONAP. GNPC is also participating in the Nigeria-Morocco gas pipeline project, which aims to utilize West Africa's natural gas resources and provide alternative export routes to Europe. Be assured that the government will continue to pursue the profitable utilization of the country's energy and geological resources. Pertaining to water provision, a major water project under the OIC Infrastructure Development Program, valued at $22.5 million seeks to increase water production accessibility to underserved areas. This initiative is aligned with the global goal on access to clean and safe drinking water. Still, NAWEC is implementing an emergency water project funded by the World Bank for $13 million. The project incorporates drilling boreholes to expand water access in the Greater Banjul area and the North Bank region. Environment, climate change, and natural resources, Honorable Speaker. On climate risk management, the Ministry of Environment, Climate Change, and Natural Resources is currently developing a legal framework to oversee the carbon trading market in the Gambia, aiming to better manage climate risk. In this regard, the Environmental Impact Assessment Program is to ensure that projects undergo environmental and social screening before implementation. The NEA remains steadfast in taking the lead to protect the environment and ascertain the security of everyone in the country. To succeed, the agency is completing a state-of-the-art laboratory to analyze chemical and soil samples, among other functions. The facility will support informed decision-making and timely action to protect the environment and public health. Recent cabinet approvals include the NEMA Amendment Bill 2022, the Hazardous Chemicals and Pesticides Management Act Amendment Bill, and the Waste Bill. Their enactment will significantly strengthen efforts to tackle environmental challenges. The Forestry and Wildlife Management. The Department of Forestry has supported 620 communities to enter into preliminary community forest management agreements. This has increased the total under community schemes for 45,237 hectares. In line with my government's position on planting trees, efforts in this area extended to seed distribution of indigenous tree species and the planting of 468,617 trees across the country. Overall, there has been a significant expansion of protected areas in the country, and the destination of the Fourth Man Biosphere Reserve is awaiting UNESCO approval. Added to this, the EU LIFE project has been approved for implementation in 2024. Complementing this initiative is an ongoing large-scale mangrove restoration project in various regions. These comprehensive measures reflect the government's devotion to environmental stewardship and sustainable development. Population and social protection, Mr. Speaker, ladies and gentlemen. Through the Office of the Vice President, our national population policy has been updated and a strategic plan for 2024-2028 developed. The policy is to leverage the Gambia's youthful population for economic growth and sustainable development in line with YIRWA, the Sustainable Development Goals, and AU Agenda 2063. Mr. Speaker, the National Population Bill, which is crucial for establishing the Commission, its Secretariat and Observatory, has Cabinet approval for submission to this Assembly. The National Social Protection Secretariat, NSPS, has contributed the development of the Gambia Social Registry. This is an integrated database enhancing social protection services by effectively supporting the poor and vulnerable. The system has already facilitated identification of beneficiaries for 5 significant programs. Among these are the flagship NAFA cash transfer intervention and the World Food Program 2023 lean season response. Happily, the Gambia Social Registry is transforming social protection services to the people, and we hope to achieve nationwide coverage by the end of the year. Even at this early stage, the registry has supported 8 programs that include those run by NGOs, development partners, and various government ministries and departments. Honorable Speaker, let me officially announce the government-funded initiative of mainstreaming social assistance to vulnerable households through the Family Strengthening Program. The NSPS has led this groundbreaking initiative through a group of multi-government stakeholders. The program aims to enhance both the welfare of our citizens by increasing access to essential goods and services and fostering investments in human and productive capital. Currently, over 2,000 people benefit from the program, leaving no one behind. To lay the foundation for a sustainable social assistance sector, the National Social Protection Bill, now with the legislature, is to establish a robust framework on social protection rights through a social protection fund that will expand government support to the most vulnerable groups. Following the 2019 agreement with ECOWAS, the establishment of the National Early Warning and Response Mechanism Coordinating Center has been initiated under the Vice President's office. A bill to formalize it will be presented to the National Assembly. With Cabinet approval of the National Nutrition Policy 2021-2025, the National Nutrition Agency, supported by UNICEF and the World Food Program, has formulated a common results framework to monitor nutrition programs and activities. In addition, to combat micronutrient deficiencies, the National Nutrition Agency launched a food fortification and biofortification strategy that targets critical deficiencies among women of childbearing age and children under 5. Last year, the NAFA program under the Gambia Social Safety Net, supported by $30 million grant from the World Bank, ended successfully with a significant impact. It has benefited 16,966 households across the poorest districts. To build on this success, the program will be expanded to include an additional 20,000 households. To protect public health and facilitate both national and international food trade, the Food Security and Quality Assurance is implementing its decentralization strategy by deploying food inspectors and safety officers at all national border points to ensure food safety in the country. A comprehensive country-wide food control system has thus been established. Mr. Speaker, the National Disaster Management Agency, NDMA, recently updated the National Disaster Management Policy and Strategy to address disaster risks. Preparedness activities, including drainage, cleaning, and waterway dredging, are underway in flood-prone areas. Last year, NDMA completed cash transfer to households affected by mild drought and collaborated with WFP to improve essential food supplies to disaster-affected and food in secured households during the lean season, land, regional government, and religious affairs. Honorable Speaker, land administration is indeed a matter of great concern to my government. We continue to have land disputes around the country that trigger tension and chaos. The trouble that erupted in Gunjur and Manduar and the land disputes in CRR and URR are typical examples. In the same way, the destruction of forest land and reserve or protected sensitive wetlands threaten the peace in some communities. Equally troubling are the communal boundaries and international border tension, thus requiring attention. All these have a negative impact on our flora and fauna, in accordance with the Banjul Declaration of 1977. Accordingly, the Ministry of Lands, Regional Government and Religious Affairs, with assistance from the World Bank, is formulating the country's first ever national land policy. The policy will introduce a land tenure system to ensure tenure security, equitable land access, and promote sustainable use of land resources. Also, it is designed to generate wealth, mitigate poverty, and reinforce resilience against environmental changes. In other development, the World Bank has allocated $10 million to support the development of a gender-sensitive, climate-informed national land policy to guide reforms in land tenure, governance, and administration. Meanwhile, the process has started to develop an automated land resources management system under the West Africa Coastal Area Resilience Project. The scheme is to contribute to diversifying the economy, securing land titles, and resolving ongoing land disputes by creating detailed maps and land use plans. Communication and digital economy. Honorable Speaker, the Ministry of Communication and Digital Economy and stakeholders have formulated policies, strategies, and regulations to steer the Gambia's digital evolution. Key instruments developed so far range from the Digital Economy Master Plan 2023, the Digital Addressing Policy, Fiber Protection Policy, and Open Data Policy to a digital strategy. For enhanced security and compliance, a registration system is equally in place to ensure that only authentic devices operate within the country. In collaboration with the public, utilities and regulatory agency and the Gambia Revenue Authority, we have engaged SICPA, a company in South Africa, to implement a revenue assurance and tariff monitoring system. This system is to guarantee accurate taxation on both international and local voice traffic, including value-added services. Significant progress in e-government initiative has been made with the support of the World Bank through the West Africa Digital Integration Program. This involves rolling out a second submarine cable to speed up connectivity and provide crucial international redundancy for the Gambia. I have mandated the upgrading and rolling out of a national digital ID system, which will harmonize identification systems within the country and assign a unique identifier to every Gambian. The exercise will coincide with the expiration of the current ID card and driver's license scheme. Mr. Speaker, this year we plan to present the Malabo Convention to the National Assembly for ratification. Once enacted, it will strengthen collaboration to manage cross-border cyber security. To reposition GAMTEL and GAMCEL to achieve the target set by National Broadband Strategy and Policy, the World Bank has agreed to support the transition to allow private sector participation in the management and operation of GAMTEL through a special proposed vehicle partnership and outright sale of GAMCEL. Cabinet has accepted this public-private partnership arrangement and will appoint a transaction advisor to assist the government during the transaction process. information, Honorable Speaker, as required in Section 41 of the Access to Information ATI Act 2021. The process of appointing information commissioners is in progress, subject to confirmation by the National Assembly. 5 distinguished Gambians have been appointed. These appointments are necessary for the effective implementation of the ATI Act, which aim to address transparency and accountability issues. Our goal is to operationalize the Information Commission this year. Mr. Speaker, equally important is the Personal Data Protection and Privacy Bill 2023. It has cabinet approval and will be tabled here shortly. This bill is essential for regulating personal data processing and protecting the rights and privacy of individuals. Concurrently, the government is drafting the Information Media and Broadcasting Bill, IMB 2024. Among other objectives, it is to institute inclusively consultation and partnership with media establishments, both public and private. The bill will repeal the Information and Communication Act 2009. In the area of regulation, Mr. Speaker, the Public Utilities Regulatory Authority and the Ministry are finalizing the Broadcasting Contents Regulation 2024. These regulations, pending the enactment of the IMB Bill 2024, will promote responsible broadcasting practices and ensure compliance with existing laws. Once published, it is expected to play a significant role in shaping broadcasting standards in the Gambia. During the course of the year, the Ministry introduced a public engagement and popularization of the government agenda initiative. This content development and multimedia broadcasting initiative is to foster constructive national dialogue on national socio-economic development matters. Public service. Honorable Speaker, the Ministry of Public Service is undertaking a comprehensive review of the functions of ministries, departments, and agencies, MDAs, to identify institutional overlaps, competing mandates, and redundancies. Based on the employees of the government, ministries, and departments, the civil service is 49,893 strong, 27,940 are male, while 21,953 are female. An estimated total of 83,155 employees are in the entire public service. There are 8,427 vacant positions across the ministries. Most of them are in the ministries of Interior, Defense, and Health. The primary challenges in filling these vacancies include the lengthy recruitment process in the security sector and a shortage of qualified personnel in the health sector. The e-recruitment system also posed initial challenges, but it has since been improved. The ministry continues to implement the civil service reform program through various strategies and approaches. Principally, for effective management of the public service review of the Public Service Act 1991 is at the tail end. Mr. Speaker, the Civil Service Reform Program 2018-2027 is to devise a standard personal administration system and maintain discipline and ethical conduct in the civil service. Furthermore, it is to maintain proper remuneration packages and incentives for the civil servants, build adequate capacity for performance and accountability within the civil service, and institutionalize meritocracy. In this direction, a major reform undertaking is the centralization of pension administration under the PMO, as mandated by the Public Service Pension Act of 2022. As part of the reform program, the PMO is actively collaborating with stakeholders to enhance public service performance and service delivery through installation of biometric time attendance machines across all MDAs. This is to monitor attendance to address lateness and unauthorized absence from work. In its endeavor to build capacity and strengthen the civil service, the PMO awards scholarships to civil servants to address critical skills and knowledge gaps within the public service. Aligned with the recovery focus NDP, the ministry regularly hosts quarterly retreats for permanent secretaries to reinforce interdepartmental coordination. Beyond this, the program for accelerated community development, coordinated by the Department of Strategy, Policy and Delivery in collaboration with the UNDP, was launched to deliver essential services to rural communities, targeting clean water, electricity, and agricultural resources is progressing. This initiative is an offshoot of our commitment to inclusive development as outlined in the Recovery Focused National Development Plan 2023-2027 and the Sustainable Development Goals. Honorable Speaker, the Department of Strategy, Policy and Delivery works with the Office in executing my oversight responsibilities through the National Economic Council and Presidential Delivery Forums. This internal accountability mechanism ensures effective and efficient service delivery. Honorable Speaker, all these initiatives are to make sure that the MDA is delivered as expected. The regular MDA presentations conducted in my office is evidence of this commitment. The government's objective is to create a more effective and efficient public service system that can meet the needs of our citizens and propel the nation's development forward. National security. Mr. Speaker, as a nation, our survival and progress depend on our security and peace. Hence the significance of the ongoing security sector reform, SSR. I am pleased to state that the SSR is progressing and we are committed to seeing it through. The Office of the National Security, through the National Security Advisor, appointed to coordinate all security institutions, leads the SSR. So far, the office has coordinated new policies and strategies that include 17 policing policies and standard operating procedures. The Police Act of 1949 has been updated and the new strategic frameworks formulated, such as the National Security Policy, National Security Council Bill, National Security Strategy, Security Sector Reform Strategy, and National Defense Policy. The GAF policy has also been revised. Additionally, Mr. Speaker, a draft veterans policy is now available to honor our veterans and attend to their concerns. For those in active service, there is a revised version of the terms and conditions of service for soldiers and officers. Later this year, my government will submit the Arms Trade Treaty instrument for accession to the United Nations Agency for membership. Alongside these developments, an immigration service bill is on the way to enhance border control and management. This is to be supported by significant technological investments that include the Migration Information and Data Analysis System. The draft bill for the Gambia Fire and Rescue Service, aimed at enhancing rescue and firefighting capabilities, is also lined up for enactment. The indication is that these comprehensive reforms have led to a significant reduction in human rights violations and abuses. Honorable Speaker, on the crime rate, whereas 4,894 crime cases were recorded in 2022, 4,567 were recorded in 2023, making a decrease of 6.6%. Out of these, 349 major crimes were recorded in 2022 and 272 in 2023, implying a decrease of about 22%. The decrease cuts across all crimes. In 2022, 1,002 traffic cases were registered, with 922 registered in 2023. The decline is linked to increased police vigilance and community policing strategies. Notwithstanding the decline in trend recorded during the last 2 years, the crime rate remains a grave concern to my government. The security services have been charged to be more vigilant. Hence, a highway patrol mechanism using modern technology is in place around the Greater Banjul area. Mr. Speaker, in 2023, we inaugurated 4 model police stations, fully equipped with modern equipment, and constructed 52 new accommodation rooms for the military in Farafenni. All were fully funded by government. To complement these efforts, we have commissioned 2 naval vessels, one funded by the government of the Gambia and another donated by the Kingdom of Spain. This development has facilitated collaboration with the Republic of Senegal to combat cross-border crimes. Mr. Speaker, the Gambia Immigration Department reported a significant increase in revenue performance in 2023, collecting over $200 million as opposed to $104,407,130 in 2022. The increase certainly indicates improved financial management and a more effective monitoring system. I must observe, nonetheless, that mitigation remains a critical matter globally. My government is thus exploring legal pathways for Gambian migrants through bilateral labor migration cooperation. I am grateful to the Gambian diaspora for their significant contributions to national development. Remittances in 2023 equal $735 million. These funds contributed to supporting families back home and contributed to our national development efforts. Moving on, our stance against drug abuse is underscored by impressive seizures and convictions achieved by the Drug Law Enforcement Agency. The agency is working actively with partners to establish a rehabilitation center and has launched a drug demand reduction program to educate the people, particularly young persons, on dangers of drug abuse. In the correctional system, plans are underway to close the Mile 2 precinct property and integrate it into the Banjul Port area. The entity will be transferred to Josuang or relocate to a new site in the Greater Banjul area. This is in accordance with the TRRC recommendations and various human rights reports. Women, children, and social welfare, Honorable Speaker. In 2023, the gender, women, and social welfare sector made substantial progress in several critical areas. They constructed shelter support services in Bakote to temporarily house survivors of gender-based violence, GBV. To accompany this, a GBV and Child Protection Helpline 199 has been integrated with the Gender Management Information System. In addition, the government has introduced a victim support fund to facilitate the rescue, rehabilitation, and reintegration of victims of sexual and gender-based violence. Mr. Speaker, my administration has reinforced the legal framework to protect the rights of women, girls, and persons with disability through several acts. In 2023, we established special courts specifically to handle cases related to child custody and other child-related issues. In monetary terms, the Ministry of Gender, Women, and Social Welfare, in collaboration with the National Social Protection Secretariat, has rolled out the government-funded initiative of mainstreaming social assistance amounting to $30 million. Earlier this year alone, the Women Enterprise Fund distributed funds to 8,400 women across the West Coast region, North Bank region, and Central River region. Also, financial assistance was extended to persons with disability from the Disability Fund. Honorable Speaker, noteworthy is the private member bill to repeal the Women's Amendment Act 2015, currently under review by the legislature. While awaiting its outcome, government remains committed to enforcing the prohibition of FGM in the Gambia. Moving forward, in 2024, we plan to expand the special court for children to handle more cases and set up a forensic lab dedicated to processing evidence in SGBV cases, specifically for rape. To uphold women's effective participation, I entreat the National Assembly to approve the private member bill which advocates a 30% governance quota for affirmative action. These efforts demonstrate our dedication to transforming the social welfare landscape by creating safer and more equitable space for women and children in the Gambia. Education, Honorable Speaker, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Education and skills acquisition are fundamental rights for every citizen. Therefore, my government places a high priority on the delivery of educational services. On progress made from 2022 to 2023, we registered significant infrastructure growth, including the construction of over 775 new classrooms and 1,030 toilets for both conventional and non-conventional schools. This expansion is geared towards making quality education affordable and accessible nationwide. Mr. Speaker, added to 12 new senior secondary schools established across the country, classrooms and facilities were rehabilitated in 10 schools from 2022 to 2024. There is a notable increase in enrollment, with enrollment at the early childhood care and development level rising from 130,952 in 2022 to 136,283 in 2023. Similarly, enrollment at all levels have all shown upward trends. We are grateful for the partnership with organizations such as the MRC Holland Foundation, the World Bank, and various UN agencies. Honorable Speaker, over the past 3 academic years, our post-secondary institutions, including Tibet centers, recorded significant enrollment increase. In 2022, enrollment reached 36,791 students, compared to 34,894 in 2021, although it dropped slightly in 2023 to 35,272. It still remains robust. Linked to this recently, I launched the Skill Innovation and Entrepreneurship SIE Fund to train our young people to utilize technical skills learned from the classroom is suitable for business ventures. Mr. Speaker, the number of graduates from our public institutions continues to increase in view of the increase in the number of higher education institutions in the country. The University of the Gambia alone impressively graduated 1,321 students in 2022 and 1,329 in 2023. Of course, its capacity to increase enrollment is constrained by several factors. The government supports students through scholarships, both within the country and abroad. In 2023, we supported 1,591 students with scholarships. This far, in 2024, we have already awarded 655 additional scholarships, totaling to 2,246 to promote equitable access to higher education opportunities. To ensure sustainable financing, a student loan scheme, research and innovation fund, and a tertiary and higher education trust fund will be rolled out soon. Each of them have cabinet approval and will be presented to this August Assembly. Mr. Speaker, in 2017, my administration has increased access to quality tertiary and higher education while promoting research, science, technology, and innovation. The Ndemban and Kanela Skills Training Centers are now in operations. They offer skills training in relevant areas, and students receive government scholarships to ease the financial burden on their parents. Despite these achievements, plans are underway to open additional skill centers across the country to meet the skills need at regional level and support local development. Honorable Speaker, significant strides have also been made in infrastructure development. The University of the University of the Gambia's Faraba by Science, Engineering and Technology is expected. Legal and judicial matters. Honorable Speaker, since 2017, my administration has embarked on significant legal reforms. Our efforts include introducing a new constitution, and we remain committed to pursuing it this year. It is hoped that a referendum on the new constitution will be held in December 2024. Mr. Speaker, among items of legislation enacted in 2023 is the anti-corruption bill, apart from robust frameworks to criminalize corrupt practices. Specialized anti-corruption agencies has been strengthened to effectively enforce the law on corruption. The Victim Reparation Act aimed at providing reparations to victims of human rights violations from the past regime has been enacted. To ensure integrity and accountability in government, so has the Ban from Public Office Act been enacted to prevent individuals convicted of corruption or related offenses from holding public office. The former President's Act, also enacted, acknowledges the services of the nation's former leaders. It provides for their dignified post-presidential life while balancing it with the interests of the Gambian people. Honorable Speaker, another piece of legislation is the Commission of Inquiry Amendment Act 2023 to conduct thorough investigations and ensure justice and accountability within government. Several other bills are now under consideration. Among them are the Criminal Offences Bill and the Criminal Procedure Code Bill. Both are vital in building a more transparent and accountable society. Mr. Speaker, the Ministry of Justice is acting on the TRRC recommendations, particularly through the drafting of the Special Accountability Mechanism Bill and the Special Prosecutor's Office Bill. These bills are part of a broader strategy to establish a hybrid court in collaboration with ECOWAS. The court will apply both domestic and international law to TRRC cases. The establishment of the Special Criminal Division of the High Court, staffed by distinguished Gambian judges, marks a huge step towards presiding over TRRC-related cases impartially and effectively. As we continue to strengthen our legal and judicial systems, my government remains resolute in its commitment to upholding the rule of law and ensure justice for all Gambians. Youth and sports. Honorable Speaker, one of our objectives is to guide our youth towards entrepreneurship, employability, and leadership, foster widespread community and national sports participation, and strive for sportless international engagements. The period under review marks significant strides in this direction. The revision of several legislative frameworks and policies and the effective coordination of related programs across the nation via satellite institutions are notable aspects of this drive. On further legislative efforts, with support from the UN Peace Building Fund, the Ministry of Youth and Sports and their stakeholders have reviewed key acts and developed the new Gambia Sports Bill and Youth Bill, alongside proposed amendments to other existing acts. These will be presented to the National Assembly. The Youth and Sports Development Levy has facilitated the construction of sports facilities in strategic national locations and the implementation of the Youth and Sports Revolving Loan Fund. Several mini stadiums have been inaugurated, and there are more construction works and upgrading of facilities in the pipeline. Mr. Speaker, our national teams have proudly represented the nation in recent international competition, participating consecutively in the 2023-2024 African Cup of Nations and the All Africa Games. We applaud them and wish them well in all future competitions. The Ministry of Youth and Sports is continually initiating skills development and employment opportunities for youth. The National Youth Service Graduate Program, launched last August to prepare young graduates for the job market, is a clear example. Another is the ongoing training in sustainable farming practices provided by the Gambia Songhai Initiative. In 2023, the President's International Award Scheme celebrated the achievements of 1,650 young recipients. Likewise, we continue to support needy training programs which have benefited over 1,000 young people. The backway returnees, many of whom have started or scaled up their businesses, are participants in these programs. Health, Honorable Speaker. Without compromising on quality, my administration is dedicated to delivering healthcare services, putting emphasis on primary healthcare, efficient service delivery, a well-trained healthcare workforce, and strong health infrastructure. In this direction, we recently inaugurated 5 new state-of-the-art health facilities in Salikenye, Kianjali, Chismajau, Tumanna, and Mankabankunda, respectively. Construction of the Njau Health Center is progressing with satisfaction. With World Bank support, works are in progress on the National Food and Drug Quality Control Laboratory at Brusubi, a new biomedical engineering unit, and the National Emergency Treatment Center in Farato. Completion is expected this year. On a separate development, my government has allocated $250 million to procure essential medicines to readily ensure treatment of common communicable diseases, especially for maternal and child health. This aside, we continue to collaborate with the Global Fund to combat HIV and AIDS, tuberculosis, and malaria. Accordingly, we have successfully secured a grant of $23,415,791 to fight these diseases and to strengthen the health system from January 2024 to December 2026, thereby continuing efforts from the 2020-2023 funding cycle. Similarly, the Global Fund has committed $2.4 million to support the installation of a CT scan as part of our health system strengthening initiative. For 2024, an additional grant of $7,859,024 has been awarded to addressing unfunded demands in strategic areas that include tuberculosis mitigation, enhanced surveillance and data systems, oxygen and respiratory care laboratory systems, and diagnostic networks, as well as community health work programs. As we strive to meet and exceed the healthcare needs of the Gambian population, my government's commitment to enhancing healthcare infrastructure, expanding service delivery, and utilizing international partnerships remains unwavering. Meanwhile, our postgraduate medical and nursing training programs are making a significant difference by strengthening our healthcare workforce. My conclusion, Honorable Speaker, Honorable National Assembly members, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, my address clearly portrays a nation that is amazingly recovering from the devastation of a global pandemic that strangled the world economies. A nation in progress, and a nation whose development efforts are already yielding resounding results. The address confirms that my administration's development orientation is visibly realistic, widely approved, and hugely far-reaching. The 5.3% economic growth and the positive remarks in the latest World Bank report clearly support these conclusions. The OIC summit, our international ratings on press freedom and human rights, our growing bilateral relations, and the key positions we hold in ECOWAS, AU, and UN vividly demonstrate our acceptance on the world stage. And the restoration of the dignity of Gambians internationally. Nationally, the expansion of our development programs and unprecedented achievements in the provision of electricity, construction of roads, and access to clean water single out my administration as evidently development-oriented. Gambians who never had the privilege of gaining access to electricity, education, healthcare, or water facilities up-country now enjoy this right. All these together with the social protection program and other interventions that target the poor and vulnerable testify to our resolve to fight poverty and guarantee equitable distributions of the nation's resources. The scholarship packages, exceptional rise in the graduation rates of Gambians at degree level, the increase in tertiary and higher education institutions, and the corresponding expansion in curricular programs, as well as the employment and training initiatives for the youth and women, illustrate our commitment and care for equitable development and participation in the economy. With such commitments, we have implemented well-defined and well-targeted programs that have transformed communities and regions across the country. The first set of roads constructed in the URR, right through to the OIC roads, are very well conceived and very timely executed projects. In this way, we are translating our national vision into realistic giant development strides. Our experience over the years provides an example of how an under-resourced small state can be rescued from underdevelopment to rapid progress, deliver from international isolation to global acceptance, and transform from a dictatorship to an acknowledged model of democracy. There is no turning back and no slowing down for us. We are development-oriented and consciously guided by the plight and needs and aspirations of the Gambian citizens, from whom we derive our legitimacy. We will continue to leverage the advantages that come with friendship and partnerships, built within the country and around the world, to contribute to global peace and progress, while pursuing the interests of the Gambian nation. Honorable Speaker, crime and the cost of living are indeed daunting challenges, because crime is a terrible hindrance to peace, security, and progress. We condemn all types of criminal activities. I assure the nation that we are determined to reduce both crime rate and the rising cost of essential commodities. Although we are aware of the complexities embedded in these two global threats to peace, the consequences of disrupting the peace, stability, and development of any community or any nation are obvious. Our progress lies in peace and our togetherness, as well as our capacity for development. All that my government solicits, therefore, is that Our common identity and development aspiration unite us, commit us to the nation, and force us to work together, regardless of party affiliation, ethnic origin, or religious orientation. Honorable Speaker, I thank you, together with the Deputy Speaker and all the honorable members of this noble assembly, for our legislative achievements and the relationships established among us. I am equally grateful to our development partners, the international community, and the entire Gambian nation, for without their collective support and efforts, we will not come this far. I urge that the spirit of the last national dialogue, the universal tenets of democracy, and our common attributes and values as human beings govern us and keep us together on track towards lasting peace, security, and accelerated development for us all. Despite our successes, we will never heed less, no indifference to the concerns and needs of the people. Though steadfastly, we will use our resources, time, and energy to develop the country, raise the standard of living, and strive to meet the basic needs of the population. My belief is that investing today implies securing the future for ourselves and our offspring. Once we have the means to do so, we will continue investing in national development. And so shall we continue partnering with you as legislators to deliver on our development promises to the people. May the Almighty God be our helper. I thank you for Canada.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Honorable members, any seconder? Honorable Member for Kantora and Majority Leader. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. Equally, I rise to second the motion and thank His Excellency for well-articulated and comprehensive speech delivered here in the Allo Chambers. Indeed, a true Democrat and defender of human rights. Thank you. Honorable members, it has been moved and seconded that this Assembly do consider the motion on the State of the Nation Address 2024 delivered by His Excellency the President of the Republic. Those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those not in favor, please say no. No. The ayes have it. Honorable members, the consideration and debate proper on the motion will be adjourned until Monday, 1st July 2024, to give honorable members ample time to read and digest the said address, where the Vice President and Cabinet Ministers are required to be present to witness the debate on the SONA. Before adjourning this sitting, please allow me, on behalf of both sides of the Assembly, and indeed on my own behalf, thank His Excellency, the President of the Republic of the Gambia, for his well-delivered and insightful State of the Nation address. The address has as provided for in the Constitution. The statement also provided us the opportunity to reflect on the achievements and challenges we face as a nation and the urgent need for national unity, peace, and stability to propel the development needs and aspirations of our dear motherland. As the people's representatives, we are trying to do our best to ensure that the policies and programs outlined in His Excellency's address are scrutinized and debated with due diligence. It is also important for us to have a clear understanding of the government's policies, development programs, and aspirations. This will provide the National Assembly and its various committees with tools necessary to perform its legislative scrutiny and oversight functions. On that note, Your Excellency, I thank you once again for addressing this Assembly. In the same vein, I wish to express thanks and gratitude to His Excellency, the Vice President of the Republic, my Lord, the Honorable Chief Justice and Justices of the Superior Courts, all honorable members, and all distinguished invited guests for gracing this solemn occasion in our parliamentary calendar. By extension, on behalf of both sides of this August Assembly, I also wish to register our gratitude to all Gambians for the support and collaboration in our collective drive towards nation building. May I also thank the Office of the Clerk, the Task Force, and all those who in their various ways contributed immensely towards making this day a success. I pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blesses and guides us all. Honorable members, before putting the question, may I kindly ask all guests to remain seated to allow His Excellency, the President, to take leave of the chambers, to be followed by the Vice President, Cabinet Ministers, and others. On that note, honorable members, I will now put the question. Be resolved that this August Assembly do stand adjourned until Monday, 1st July 2024. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. This Assembly now stands adjourned until Monday, 1st July 2024 at 10 a.m. prompt.
mooy njiiti réew mi His Excellency President Adama Barrow address na ki nga xamante ne mooy nation bi ba pare jamono ji nag gis nañ ne président bi wax na wax yu am solo laal na si secteur bu nekk ndaxte loolu mooy state of the nation address saa su ne at bu jot dina ñëw benn yoon mu jàkkaarloog la nga xamante ne mooy askan bi ak ñi nga xamante ne ñoom ñooy député yi mu waxtaan address nation bi wax achievement am yi ak yokkuteyam yi bu ko defee député yi dinañ ko càmbar xoolaat ko bu baax a baax den ñu debate ko debate bi nag ki nga xamante ne mooy vice président bi moom nag dina si teew waaye gannaaw bi nga xamante ne wax na ba pare mu ngi noonu génn na ànd ak ki nga xamante ne mooy vice président bi waaye nag président bi ci biir waxam wax na ci fànn yu bëree bëri ci fànn ñi nga xamante ne ñooy police yi ñooñu tamit wax na si seen fànn di wax ne sax dina tëraay ñuy di police yi ñu fexe leen ba nga xamante ne dinañ am ay laan yi nga xamante ne ñoo ko moomal seen boppa loolu nekk na li nga xam ne am na solo lool ndaxte ñi nga xamante ne ñooy di Gambia Police Force ñooñu nekk nañ ñi di nga xamante ne réew mi la ñoo liggéeyal te di nga gis ki nga xamante ne nekk na si service bi forever te amut këri boppam amut dara mooy waral ñuy dugga si lu bari soo wax na ci fànn boobu wax na ci beneen fànn yokkute bi nga xamante ne mu ne am na ko su ñëwee si fi nga xamante ne mooy wàllum ndox ak courant pour ñi nga xamante ne ñoo nekk ci kaw gi ñu am access to clean water ak electricity te mu ne foofu am na yokkute te bu baax gis na ne ñooñu am nañ loolu waaye bu ko defee rek ñëwaat na tamit wax na ci wàllum agriculture bi wax na ne dinañ si taxaw bu baax ndaxte gi nga xamante ne mooy agriculture bi gis nañ yokkute bi nga xamante ne am na ko si 2023 bi ba dugga si 2024 bi waaye dinañ si gën a taxaw waaye tamit président bi tamit ekkati na ay kàddoom moom tamit wax ci wàllum ndaw ñi ndaxte jamono ji loolu itteel na li nga xamante ne mooy askan gi bu baax a baax jaadama yaa mooy le président oye min fo
baraka bake Ramatulay ko ya afanyamen doron ñin tembe na doron bali life and direct le Gambia Talent TV National Assembly damentu yalon ko wala mun bantaba toti ko ngalo nyamen bi president Adama Barrow anata banko la bumbato memu National Assembly ti kadiamo banko dingoli mentate ila nyato talla nyin sango kono memu 2020 2040 kabo 2023 kana 2024 kan 2024 du akif menol menke memu nyato taliti wala banke jang anim fana ila mirarol mu menti kaje ko nyato talla fa ay wol fana mu kuti me yalon ko ayebe fo janne ni nata jisena mala kajo ko men yalon ko wala be santolu to fanan ye lafar bake wala pour kurangoni njio se kende mase soto no nyamen je bari yana fanan yana ako abe doku bundalu men tata fo doku bunda kemelulu nim fe ay bol fanan tala kebe lafa ku ke buindi saje fanninke wol se fan soto no damen to ani se mutadula soto bari fanan ni natan na agriculture la fanan na ko ngafale nyame somanda diamuta woto bakele kaje ko na agriculture simfali men tata je kaje ko sembo se warano nyame wala ka senelalu sembentu ya o fanan diamuta wala bakele bari fanan nata ni nata banko la fanna dolla na energy nyolbe ayebe fo janne karangola fanna la ayol be fonye janne ko ibe simfali men tala ke lafa anin simfali men fanan tata du ke lafa ko ngafo nyame mo jamal bije nak yo ku jamal sentule wala yo ku jamali mira ko president o nyanta wolu be banke la janne bara kuma kangol fo na nyaaje sainte president o fo fele la moto fele abe finti kan National Assembly be murkan damenti yalon ko woltomu State House di bar fana ay alias speaker moyle kabirabe diamu kan ko député wol mina sila ninga moy ku ka memo on the first kaje ko kasi ko nyina ka ko nyin kacha ka ko nyinta ka kacha bake isaje député wol finance debate ke je se lodulata jela bar fanan atemera drombe député wol dundi lana niye kacha soto ye mumiral sifa la soto president Barrow la diamola Ramatulay Gay mbabula la doron anin luntangol se kacha bismillah ngabula doron anin luntangol ye kacha Ramatulay bismillah
jërëjëf jaarama jamono ji nak amna ci biir studio bi ki nga xamantene moy National Assembly member bu Banjul North gannaaw bi nga xamantene président bi njiti réew mi adresse na réew mi ba pare dinañ faral di waxtaan ak nit yi di leen laaj la moo nekk seen expectation lan la président bi adresse ndax ànd nañ si wala lépp li mu wax gis nañ si yokkute wala ndax réew mi noonu la muy demee loolu dina am solo nuyu naa la honorable
waaw fay naa la suma sister
naka nga def
alhamdulillah
tey nekkoon State of the Nation address mu nekk mandate si président réew mi at bu jot dina ñëw benn yoon si house bi waxtaan ak askan bi address nation bi waaye it ak National Assembly members yi su ko defee after ngeen debate si lépp li nga xamante ne wax na ko naka nga gisee speech bi nga xamante ne mooy speech yi président bi tey.
waaw balaa maa commencé dama njëkk a nuyu askan bu ñëw seetaan right now di sant yàlla bu baax pour opportunity bu mu ñu jox tey. pour ñu am the health wérgu yaram bi pour ñëw fekkee this important event boo xam ne laf lay happen once every year in Parliament, that is the State of the Nation address. State of the Nation address ku ko xam na ne the president lafa am pour ñëw pour wax ak Parliament bi pour waxtaan about administration at policies yoo xam ne mu ngi ko put in place and teg si tamit wax tamit some of the achievements yoo xam ne administration am def na ko ak challenges tey nag def na ko yàlla def na ñun right now ni ñu ñoo yëgal ne suñ speech président bi ñu ngi ko def si suñ pigeonhole si dinañ ko jël dem toog si seetaat ko seegaat ko waaye luñ jot a dégga gis nañ tamit ne ñëw na with achievements ak challenges yoo xam ne moom la nguuram nekk di jànkuwanteel waaye si biir loolu as National Assembly we believe we are the apex authority given the mandate or the powers by the Constitution of the Republic of the Gambia to perform oversight function to all government institutions including the office of the President. So in that regards li ñoo def rek mooy dem seetaat ko ba pare pour ñëwaat on Monday and Tuesday pour debate on it because fi mu ne tamit ne dëgg la am na yu bari yu mu wax waaye am na yu des parce que the fact of the matter is you can always come up with challenges but also what solution mechanisms do you put in place to make sure that you solve those problems comme ni ma ko lay waxee rek a problem that is not solved is still a problem but a problem that is solved is no more a problem so I believe that this should be the way forward as far as the government of the day should think and see the way forward in terms of making Gambia a better Gambia that we all yearn for so si gàttal daal I believe ne Monday ñu ngi leen naa dox dig daje si parlement bi
yaakaar nañ ne vice président bi dina ñëw
te ñun loolu sax ñu ngi appel ne there is nothing wrong pour président bi si boppam mu ñëw parce que constitution bi stoput président bi si boppam pour mu ñëw and it will be a very good practice te léegi si la moo nekka man lu ma loon gënal mooy balaa ngaa délégué sa vice président yow président bi nga ñëw as far as yaa joxe speech bi nga ñëw nga won ñu ne xam nga lan nga nekk di liggéey ak sa waa nguur mooy sa cabinet bi so lii la fa nekk loo xam ne maa ngi koo ooj moom His Excellency seize this particular opportunity as the President of the Republic of the Gambia xam naa ne constitution bi jox na la the right ne mun ngaa délégué sa vice président waaye man honorable Modou Lamine Ba maa ngi laa ooj pour yow His Excellency nga ñëw si parlement bi nga déglu lu parliamentarians yi di wax concerning speech boo joxe 2024 ba pare yow tamit nga am that zeal pour respond to any concerns yoo xam ne moom la ñuy raise and I believe that you will set the bar as far as the development of this country is concerned in terms of good governance.
Honorable ñu bari dañ doon expect na tamit dina wax si wàllum drogue bi bu baax a baax mu emphasize ak yan matuwaay la si war a jël parce que jamono bi soo xoolee mu ngi faat suñ ndaw ñi mu ngi jeexal suñ ndaw ñi te ñu ko dugal si réew mi si booda si la ñoo jaar ci buntu réew mi la ñoo jaar dugal ko ci biir réew mi lan nga foogoon ne président bi yan mécanisme la war a jël foofu noonu.
loolu tam ma walla ne there are already a lot of gaps as far as this particular speech is concerned because there are so many things that are not addressed. For example, one of them very health that has to do with people that are mentally disabled in this country. But mechanisms like good we put in place to make sure that they are mentally disabled in this country. dégguma mu wax ko si speech bi so man laa woon ne comme laay ñun dinañ dem toogaat ñu seegaat wax bi bu baax gis nañ yenn ministry yoo xam ne sax mu ngi report on those ministries for example the Ministry of Local Government and Lands and also religious affairs la fa stop rek si mbiri living land policies but what about issues surrounding religion in this country, which is indeed very key and very important? We want to know. Recently, we have seen reports that 60% of Senegalese pilgrims you joge Maka, you am COVID. You understand? What is the government doing? We've seen like a press release from the Ministry of Health in terms of saying that they will be conducting these tests before they enter into the country. But the fact of the matter is, are they not also putting mechanisms at the country level to see to it COVID is still around. So why? It's not only about the pilgrims that came from Mecca, but what about the people themselves? So the other thing has to do with the living when it comes to the cost of living in this country. You understand? What control mechanisms? You are not here to just tell us that you will take measures. No. What are you putting in place to make sure that you address those things? So these are things we really want to put forward and see to it ne they are well addressed te dara soo ko def message soo ko joxe la fa war a nekk a complete message. We don't expect a surface information from the president because we believe that ministries they will give him a very detailed information about how they've been performing, how they've been doing, and what are the way forward as far as developing this country is concerned.
Jërëjëf kooku di National Assembly member bu Banjul North dégg nañ ñu wax ñu bari tey National Assembly member si duñ si mën a wax lu bari ba Monday ñu review ko debate ko su ko defee dinañ leen am sa suñ plateforme yi ñu gën koo waxtaan gën see yaatal ndaxte am na expectations yu bare bari bëggoon nañ koo dégga bëggoon nañoo gis président bi wax ñu lan la cee indi waaye dafa mel ni gaab bi dafa di waaye ba tey dinañ ko waxtaanee toppaleen ñu ak keneen jërëjëf honorable di la gërëm bu baax a baax si ñëw bi nga ñëw loolu nekkalu am solo mbokk yi ba léegi rek yéen a ngi seetaan live and direct Gambian Talents TV am mbégte am kontaante rek nekkalal leen fi rek fii ci National Assembly bi nga xamante ne lépp li nga xamante ne askan bi soxla nañ ko ci wàllum tas xibaar ak ci wàllum wane ñun dinañ leen ko indil ñu waxtaanee ko waaye tey nekk na bés bi nga xamante ne bés bu mag la ci Gambia tey gis nañ fi ki nga xamante ne mooy Aji Yam Seka gis nañ fi ki nga xamante ne mooy lawyer Isenu Dabo former vice president bi di Dr. Aïssatou Ndiaye Seydi ak ki nga xamante ne mooy former vice president bi Fatmata Tamba Jeng moom mu ngi fi ak ay governors ak ay chef ñu jógee ko fu nekk ñëw rek teewe bés bi déglu si ki nga xamante ne mooy njiiti réew mi président Barrow lan la moo wax askan bi yan mécanisme la moo put in place ndax luy askan bi di joytu wala luy askan bi di wax ndax président bi dafa ñëw wax ñu achievement am yi rek ndax président bi dafa ñëw indi ay solutions ndaxte jamono ji réew gi di réewum Gambia yu bare bari ñu ngi des gannaaw yu bari yu ñu war a waxtaanee ñun ko war a wax Samba nuyu naa la ba léegi rek gannaaw bi nga xamante ne président bi adresse na nation bi nii di nga xamante ne ñooy National Assembly members yi dinañ leen jox speech président bi ñu study ko su ko defee Monday ñu ñëw si debate bi yaa nga woon ci biir déglu nga speech bi lan nga mun a far si waxi président bi ak lan nga foog ne président bi waroon na see gën a élaborate parce que nit yaa ngi wax ne am na gaab bu rëy bu des li nga xamante ne daf ko bàyyi gannaaw.
waaw Ramatulaay jërëjëf bu baax a baax président Barrow si speech am wax na si li nga xam ne mooy national development maanaam secteur yu bari mu ngi si biir dëkk bi ñu ni neen ñoo ko war a defar ku secteur yooyu mu mun a dem wax na si lu mel ni wàllum agriculture ak li nga xam ne moom la si gars yi achieve waaye it emut foofu noonu moom président Barrow wax na si li nga xam ne mooy diaspora bi mi ne moom pare na ku jàppalante ak waa diaspora bi su ko defee ñu gën a gis Gambia si yeneeni anam si yeneeni development ak yooyu an si waxam tamit li mu wax bari na lool te it comme ni ma koy waxee rek ñiti tamit ñu ngi doon déglu du ñàkk ne dégg neen président bi bu moo wax tam si judicial system bi nga xam ne moo nekk fii si biir dëkk bi wax na ne crime rate bi gis neen ko tey ñu ngi koy dégg di ko gis waaye moom li nga xam ne mooy ñitam yi nga xam ne ñoom ñoo nekk si dëkk bi dinañ si bàyyi xel bu baax a baax Ramatulaay nag xam naa léegi tey ñu close parce que ñiti dem neen down bu ko defee rek ñu bàyyee askan bi yeneen yi nga xam ne ñu ngi ko def si waxtaan yi nga xam ne am neen ko ak IEC chairman bi am neen ko tamit ak yeneen National Assembly members comme ni nga ko waxee rek IEC chairman tam waxtaan nañoo ak moom laajte ko lan la yaakaar si président Adama Barrow mu ne li nga xam ne mooy ñoom seen IEC li ñoo liggéey nationwide kenn defut ko parce que ñoom ñu ngi def seen kéemtalaay kàttan ku gis ne transparency mu ngi am si wàllum élection si wàllum li nga xam ne mooy wàllum sànni karta ak yu mel noonu so wan neen daal si lu bëree bari and suñ télé bi di Gambian Talents TV suñ paree léegi nii ñu ngi binal gaay speech président bi si secteur bu nekk bi nga xam ne moom la wax dañoo binal secteur bu nekk su ko defee askan bi mun koo jël Ramatulaay jërëjëf ma bàyyi la nga ma tàggatoo jërëjëf
am na solo bu baax a baax waaye dégg ngeen ki nga xamante ne mooy Fatou Samba président bi su waxee ci wàllum diaspora bi lu ñoo expect foofu ndaxte ñoom jamono ji lu leen gën a soxal mooy ndax dinañ mën a vote 2026 ndaxte ay Gambien lañ te bugg nañ am baat ci réew mi te lu leen a may baat ci réew mi mooy seen carte te ñoom tamit war nañoo vote kon mbokk yi rek Gambian Talents TV suñ caméra bi dem na down ki nga xamante ne mooy Aïssatou Koli moom tamit dina wax ak yeneen naam si ak ñi nga xamante ne ñëwoon nañ fi nga xamante ne mooy si State of the Nation Address 2024 nga xamante ne at bu ne njiiti réew mi dina ko amal benn yoon ñu adresse réew mi waxtaanee jafe-jafe réew mi waxtaanee tolluwaay réew mi te loolu dafa am solo lii nag after dinañ def plateforme invite ñi nga xamante ne ñooy National Assembly members yi ak ay concerned citizen su ko defee ñu xool mbiri naka la moo demee mu nekk lu am solo di jaajëfal ki nga xamante ne mooy Moussa Diatta di head of technique ak ki nga xamante ne mooy Bakary Tamba di ko jaajëfal Adam Dieng ak ki nga xam ne mooy Jaadama ak Fatou Samba Diouf ñu leen di jaajëfal bu baax a baax a baax tey nag lii lañ leen fi indiloon dinañ gën a waxtaanee speech bi dinañ ci dugga si fànn yu nekk ngeen xaar ñu si seen biir Gambia Show ma indil leen nit yi ñu waxtaanee ko ndaxte nit yi bari jamono ji dañ fi leeg ne président bi dafa am gaab yu bari yi nga xamante ne bàyyi na ko gannaaw wax na ay achievement am wax na ay challenges am waaye yu bari yu nga xam ne réew mi bugg nañ koo xam war nañ koo waxtaanee mu ngi des gannaaw dinañ leen bàyyi nag ñu seetaan debate bi ñu seet National Assembly members yi lu si seen teg suñ leen joxee speech bi ñoom tam ñu dem study ko at the end of the day ñu waxtaanee ko su ko defee ñu seet way forward ñu seet réew mi fan la muy toll loolu dina am solo waaye di leen gërëm di leen sant rek di leen wax ne réew mi suñu réew la ñun ñëpp a ko bokk lu ñëpp bokk lu ne ku ne nga sax kon nañ xàccandoor dóorandoor one Gambia one nation one love waaye liggéey rek pam su ko defee réew mi dem si kanam bu kenn xaddi waaye nag maa ngi nuyu ñëpp bàyyiwuma kenn di nuyu Tabora Bojang sa standard newspaper maa ngi koy nuyu bu baax a baax ak képp ki nga xamante ne rek jamono ji yaa ngi doon seetaan Gambian Talents TV jërë ngeen jëf jox leen dig daje ba yeneeni plateforme ngeen toppa Gambian Talents TV